So we had some basic tenets of the style, the components of the building, and then it became a process to design it and then to fund it. And so, not unlike the great cathedrals of Europe that had its remarkable patrons, its architects, and all of the influences that go into creating a work of art that lasts the ages and through which you can literally pass. This building, in a very, very small way, represents the multiple layers of care that have gone into the Colebrookdale Railroad project. And so it has grown from simply the idea of a platform with a shelter into a small little cathedral here on a hill overlooking Memorial Park in Pottstown.
My name's Scott Bentley, and my wife Susan and I have been involved with the Colebrookdale since the beginning, or 7 years. I don't remember how we found out about it, but we were riding the railroad, and somehow someone said that they were looking for donors that were asked to provide funds for a station in Pottstown. And somehow we found out, probably through Facebook, that the naming rights were available. So on the train I said, who do I talk to about getting the naming rights for the station in Pottstown?
Well, Nathaniel was raising money, and I figured out how much I wanted to donate in memory of my husband. He was an orthopedic surgeon here in Pottstown, and that's why we want to support Pottstown, because that's where we made our living, and we want to give back to the town. And also, when the train first started, and we went up to Boyertown and we saw all the effort Boyertown was putting into it, my husband's like, Pottstown's got to get going on this project. So it was something that he was interested in.
The basic idea that soon, hopefully, people can board the train in Pottstown and have it be more of a Pottstown train than a Boyertown train that goes to Pottstown is really exciting to me.
It's also an important point of pride. I think when people talk about Pottstown or Boyertown, it's like, oh, have you been to Pottstown? We have the carousel was restored, and we have the train, and we have the manor, and all these different things that they can point to, and it helps them identify to other people what the community is all about.
Pottstown Station will be the place where passengers on the Colebrookdale Railroad leave the train and go and visit attractions here in the park, such as the carousel, Osgrove Manor, or activities in the park. There's a connection to the Schuylkill River Trail, and also ultimately there'll be a connection to downtown Pottstown, either through Pottstown Area Rapid Transit, which built a bus terminal right alongside our tracks, or perhaps even someday direct train service to downtown Pottstown from this building. But also this will be an embarkation point for passengers on the Colebrookdale Railroad, so you'll be able to board the train either in Boyertown, as you can now, or here from this station in Pottstown.
It's incredible, the design and the exquisite artistic work that's being done that's going to add to Pottstown.
The tower is going to be open on the first 2 floors. It'll have a mezzanine around the middle of it. Going up will be accessed by a really ornate wrought iron circular staircase. We have a lot of antique stained glass that we're currently restoring that is destined for the tower. We also have an antique mahogany, really just beyond gorgeous, very high Gothic mantle that's going to be going in there. And that was actually removed from a house in Paris that was dismantled not long ago. The house was built in the 1890s, and we were luckily able to get that before the house came down, and we had it created and shipped over for use in the tower.
Some of the designs, there's a lot to it. There's a lot of pieces to it, all right? So it takes a lot of knowledge in order to get this stuff up on the wall, all right? So it's an ongoing process, it just keeps going and going and going. And I really enjoy doing it.
This is a complicated, beautiful little building. And just like Ernest and Julio Gallo would serve no wine before it's time, we'll open no station before it's time.
I like to think that we have been fairly consistent in supporting Pottstown as a destination and improving the community. The Colebrookdale is certainly a large part of that, and I think when this station is open and when trains initiate here, the Colebrookdale's role in the revitalization of Pottstown will increase. And if you want to invest in the future of our children, our community, what better way?
One of the things that makes this project special isn't just the time in which it arises, when we're talking about trains holding further promise for the future, but also when we live in a time that we see people, we just listen to the radio or turn on the television and you hear about divisiveness and people not getting along and this opinion and that opinion and so on and so forth and so much strife. I look at a building like this sort of improbable, remarkable little building rising in Memorial Park, and go through my head and think about all of the wonderful people who have made this possible. Scott and Susan Bentley, Dr. and Peggy Whitaker, Justin Boyd with his designs, and Bill Hogan and his skill at building miraculous things, and Jeremy Medeiros and his ability to translate an idea on paper, a concept on paper, into a drawing that can be built from. And Steve Hurst, another one of the contractors who built a substantial portion of the building so far. Folks who've just given so much time and money and talent to build this thing. Folks who are so different from each other that if you put them in a room but for this, they probably wouldn't have much to talk about. But they've come together to build this thing, and we continue to build it. And each year, as a little more progress is made, I watch people continue to get excited about it, and it makes me feel really good.
My name is Kate Kennedy. I'm the sales manager at Stony Run Winery. The winery itself is based in Kempton, which is in Berks County. We have over 70 acres planted with about 20 different varietals of grapes. Most of the wines that we produce are dry, although we do some semi-sweet and sweet wines. And we are doing a wine and cheese pairing that gives a good opportunity for people to try some of the different varietals of wine that we have: a dry white, a dry red, a semi-sweet, and then a sweet wine paired with some lovely cheese from Valley Milk House, which is in Ole, which makes my job that much easier with this phenomenal cheese paired with this great wine.
Oh, it's lovely. It was very good. I love all the choices that they made between dry to sweet and in between, so it was great.
I think the ones they put together go really well together. It tastes good. Yeah. My favorite was the Merlot one. Yeah.
We were interested in tasting the wine here, and the staff is so beautiful, and the train is even more beautiful.
This year we were named top winery by the Pennsylvania Winery Association. We also won top red this year. We've won other awards last year. Our sparkling Brut won Best in Show at the Farm Show. Our Gruner Veltliner won double gold in the Governor's Cup last year.
Out of 1 to 10, it's like a 15. So yeah, it's awesome. I love it. I love the ambiance. The pairings were great with the wine and the cheeses. So yeah, it's just been an awesome experience. And I love that my daughter at her age was able to come up with this as an idea, because this is totally my style. Yeah.